Brought to you by Penguin.
The Folks That Live on the Hill by Kingsley Amos. Read by David Rintoul. 1. Bunty Stretfield poured boiling water from the electric kettle onto the bowl of dried apricots destined for tomorrow's breakfast. The water left unpoured made a fierce whooshing noise on the element when she set the kettle down. Overhead, the strip lighting went on with its giant mosquito whine, and just then the dishwasher entered the throbbing, growling part of its cycle. Even tiny kitchens and quite small flats were no longer the quiet places they must once have been. Shutting the door on this one with the necessary bang, Bunty came out into the eating part, where Piers Caldecote sat at the scrubbed pine table. At least it looked like pine. He was smoking a cigarette and reading the evening paper in a tolerant, uncommitted sort of way. At Bunty's approach, he plopped his half-finished cigarette into the mug of tea he had taken half a dozen sips from. "Ah, you're off then, are you?" "For reasons best known to yourself," he seemed to imply, as often when others' activities were in question, but still tolerantly. "You'll be going out yourself, will you?" Piers inclined his head inch by inch towards the telephone. I may. Then again, I may not." Suddenly he beamed at her. Bunty hesitated. "If you don't, there's some of those soused herrings and some tongue and stuff in the fridge. And—" she hesitated again. "And put them back when I've taken what I want, and jolly well clear up after me a bit. But of course, say no more. Stand on me. Now, you run along, little thing. Have a good time. I don't suppose we'll be late. And—" he extended his neck and cocked a half-shut eye at her in a way she had once thought must mean he was drunk, but which she now knew meant he was pretending to be caring. "You're not to let that silly girl walk all over you. It's not good for her character, for one thing. Nor for you, my dear. The more you let her have her head, the more trouble you're laying up for yourself. You mark my words now." "I'll rule her with a rod of iron." "She might quite like that." "Sorry, how do you mean?" "Forget it. Failed joke." Then, "You look nice," he called after her. The flat had a reinforced hardboard front door, which Bunty shut behind her with no bang at all. It opened directly onto a staircase with donkey-coloured carpeting, so directly that she had to hang on to the flimsy knob while she peered down into the hall and listened, not liking herself much for doing so. For the moment there was no sign of Mrs. Brooks, the little old lady, in fact the not-so-very-old but still stooped-over and awful old lady who lived on the ground floor and who was liable to start talking to Bunty on sight and at extreme range. A no-sign situation at this stage could not allow for Mrs. Brooks's speed off the mark from the middle room where she mostly lurked, and a frightening number of times, like 3 in the year, she had been discovered crouching on the front step just as Bunty opened the house door. But this evening the way was clear, and the psycho-type creaking of the middle room door resounded too late. The bright May sunshine in the street suffered from what Bunty had half supposed to be a rock concert in the nearer middle distance, but now turned out to be merely the output of some sort of radio playing to no visible audience from the scaffolding on the house opposite. Further along, a burglar alarm pealed steadily, and somewhere else, what was perhaps another form of alarm sounded a continuous, fluctuating whistle, like an automaton pronouncing "sorry, sorry, sorry, sorry" without end. Somewhere else, again, a loud male voice blurted unformed syllables, and this was supposed to be a quiet suburb, handy for the centre, but still quiet. It had only recently begun to dawn on Bunty how she longed to spend even an hour or two a day somewhere that really was quiet. How older people coped with it all she could not imagine, but she knew there were other things besides, harder to define than noise, that she wanted to get away from. She hurried down to the corner with Shepherd's Hill itself on her left, the half-dozen sloping acres of parkland that gave the district its name. Children and dogs ran to.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?